Hey guys, it's Tim and this is PWU Daily, where I bring you a bunch of news in one condensed video. I run down a number of topics and also give you my thoughts on some of the bigger topics in pro wrestling today. This show will come to you Monday through Friday at roughly 11 a.m. Pacific every single day, right here on YouTube, and then it should drop later on iTunes. Now, as this show evolves and grows, I want to add more to the show, like maybe answering some of your fan-submitted questions, maybe doing some other cool things with sponsors or other wrestler promotions. I don't know yet. I'm going to wait and see how the show goes, and we'll see what we want to add to it and get your guys' feedback on what you like as well. Now, before we get going, today's sponsor, actually, this week's sponsor is Insight Editions. Insight Editions are the makers of WWE's new official cookbook and the WWE Pop Quiz Trivia Deck. Both can be purchased with links in the description below. So, it's Monday. It's Monday, March 25th, 2019, and let's run down all the quick news that came out over this past weekend. So, first off, we did learn that the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega basically confirmed that All In 2 will be happening at the Sears Center in Chicago, Illinois. They were doing a panel at the C2E2 convention, and they didn't right out say, hey, this date is when we're going to do it, but the crowd was chanting All In 2, All In 2, All In 2, and then they said, yeah, we'd love to come back for a wrestling show here in Chicago, and we've got allegiance to the Sears Center since they put our faces up on their building. So it looks like this September, they didn't say September, but I believe September, we could be getting All In 2 at the Sears Center in Chicago, Illinois. Now on Saturday night, we did see the finals of the New Japan Cup where former IWGP Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada did defeat Sanada. Now, with winning the New Japan Cup, Okada will move on to the G1 Supercard show on April 6th to challenge Jay White for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. And Jay White is the same man that defeated Okada just a few months back at Wrestle Kingdom. Yesterday, Sunday, WWE did announce that Kurt Angle will have a huge match on SmackDown this week as he takes on the phenomenal AJ Styles. On last night's season finale, I guess you can call it, of Total Bellas, Nikki Bella was with her whole family and some friends and did officially announce she's retiring from pro wrestling. She's hanging up her boots, she's folding the jersey, she's done. Following that season finale airing, the Bellas took to social media to also announce that they're coming out with a brand new podcast simply titled The Bellas Podcast. This podcast will drop, I think it's every single Wednesday, starting this Wednesday on iTunes and other platforms as well. And finally, the last little tidbit we've got for you. Last night, the news, I think it actually came out on Saturday. It's weird because of the time difference in Japan, but New Japan Pro Wrestling did finally reveal the full card for G1 Supercard taking place on April 6th. The two main matches for the show will see Jay White defending the IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Kazuchika Okada, and in a triple threat ladder match, Jay Lethal will be defending the ROH World Heavyweight Championship against both Matt Taven and, yes, Marty Scurll. With that, those are the quick, bigger news notes from the weekend we wanted to hit on. But now, we've got 3 stories on the docket for you today that are pretty interesting stories. One that actually broke this morning. So with that, WWE has officially announced that the Raw Women's Championship match with Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch will be the official main event for WrestleMania 35. WWE did send out this tweet and a press release. The tweet states the following: breaking, for the first time in WWE history, a women's match will be the main event for WrestleMania. The historic Raw Women's Championship match featuring Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch will take place on Sunday, April 7th at MetLife Stadium and live on the WWE Network. So I think that is a very, very cool that these women will be wrestling in the main event of WrestleMania 35. WWE also sent out a press release. We're not going to read the entire thing, but we'll hit on some of the notes of it. Press release stated the following: for the first time in WWE history, a women's match will main event a WrestleMania as the Raw Women's Championship match featuring Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch will take place on April 7th in front of a capacity crowd at MetLife Stadium, streaming live on the WWE Network around the world. The press release then goes on to give some of the acclimates and accomplishments of all three women, like Ronda Rousey being an Olympic medalist, UFC champion for the first time of a woman. She's a New York Times best-selling author, UFC Hall of Famer. They go on to say that Charlotte Flair, 7-time women's champion in WWE, former Division I volleyball player, philanthropist, and author. They state that Becky Lynch was 2-time SmackDown Live Women's Champion, Wrestler of the Year in 2018 by both Sports Illustrated and CBS Sports, and she was the first woman to top ESPN's WWE Power Rankings. They close out this press release by stating, at WrestleMania 32 in 2016, WWE branded the Divas division the Women's Division and unveiled a new Women's Championship title. Since that title, the Women's Evolution has placed a greater spotlight on WWE female performers, including more prominent storylines, deeper character development, and showcases their athleticism, charisma, and star power. Last October, WWE held its first ever all-women's pay-per-view event, Evolution, in front of a sold-out crowd and millions more watching on the WWE Network. So I think this is great news. I think the women headlining WrestleMania, main eventing this show, this is the year you got to do it. You may not have another opportunity like this one to do this show in the main event. I mean, think about this. So you've got Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch. We know Becky's probably going to win. But you've got Ronda over here, or however you want to, you got Ronda. You got Ronda. And she's going to appeal to the mainstream audience, the mainstream media. She's going to be able to go on any talk show she wants and get any interview she needs to hype up this match, even though I would have assumed that she would have already done this, but maybe she can get on like a Jimmy Fallon or an Ellen in the next 2 weeks. Then you've got Charlotte Flair, who's got that Flair name that people are going to be like, Flair? Is she related to Ric Flair? Oh my God, the daughter of Ric Flair. I know Ric Flair from my childhood. I've heard that name. Let's see what his daughter's all about. So she's going to bring that. But then you've also got Becky, who's basically the hardcore wrestling fans' favorite right now to a degree. They've kind of cooled her off. But you've got these three women that can hit all the different demographics together. You know, together they're going to hit all the demographics WWE needs to bring as many eyes possible to the show. And with that, I think this is one of the only years you can do that. I don't know if there's going to be another year like this where the WWE is going to be able to, like I said, go out there and put women in the main event where more than just hardcore wrestling fans will care. And even in other years, we may not even have the hardcore wrestling fans caring, depending on who the women going in this main event are. So I think this year in particular is the best year to do it, is the year you have to do it. If you don't do it this year, then why even care ever again? I don't know if you're going to have three women with the star power that these three women have, again, even two women. Say next year we get like Sasha and Charlotte or Bayley and Becky. We don't know what the future is going to hold for the women's division of the WWE. So you want to strike while what's the term they say? Strike while the iron's hot and do what you got to do when the time is right. And I think the time for this match is right now. So that's just my opinion. I think that it's the perfect time to do it. You've got the perfect matchup. This match has changed a million times over the last year. I mean, originally, it was just supposed to be Ronda versus Charlotte. Then Vince changed his mind and said, let's do Ronda versus Natalya. But then when Natty's father passed away, they were like, nope, she can't turn heel, never mind. It went back to Ronda Charlotte. Then when Becky got hurt and couldn't wrestle at Survivor Series, they did Ronda Charlotte at Survivor Series, and the Mania match turned into Ronda Becky. Then, shortly after that, they came up with the idea of, no, let's do the triple threat, and that's where we've gotten. We've gotten this triple threat that I think can be a really good WrestleMania main event. So let me know in the comments your thoughts on this match being the official WrestleMania main event. Now moving forward, the second story we got for you, the Lucha Bros, Pentagon and Phoenix, could be exclusive to All Elite Wrestling here in the United States. This news does come from the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, where Dave Meltzer, in his section about All Elite Wrestling, stated the following. There are talks going on where Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix would end up exclusives here in the US market while working through AAA. So basically what Dave is stating here is that Pentagon and Phoenix, their main company where they're working for is AAA. AAA has, I guess the words would be first rights to them. But then in the US, All Elite Wrestling would have, I guess you could say, exclusive rights. And we don't know exactly what exclusive is going to mean for All Elite Wrestling. Is exclusive going to mean what it means for the WWE as far as you work for us, you do our TV, our live events, nothing else? Or could it mean something like we've seen with other promotions like MLW? You're exclusive to us. We have rights as far as if we need you, we can pull you from any other show. We saw that with Filthy Tom Lawler. He was supposed to be working for, I think it's Black Label Pro WrestleMania weekend, and MLW said, no, we need you. We got TV taping. We're pulling you. They have the rights to that. We don't know exactly what the exclusive AEW is going to mean. AEW can do a number of different things. And we know right now that a lot of their talent are working other promotions, working indies and stuff. But that can all change once All Elite Wrestling does get television. Once All Elite Wrestling has television, they can go WWE exclusive route, stating, you work for us in the States and nobody else. Or they can say, you work for us, but when we say we need you, you come. We can pull you from any show in the United States. So it's going to be interesting to see if this is what happens. And this is going to hurt a lot of independent promotions because Pentagon and Phoenix, they'll basically work anywhere. And it helps because when you have an indie like Defy Wrestling up in Seattle area, and you say, we've got Pentagon and Phoenix coming in this weekend, oh man, that's going to sell a lot of tickets. Or if you have MLW who say, hey, Pentagon and Phoenix, they're working the TV tapings this week, that sells a lot of tickets too. That gets a lot of interest into their weekly shows. But when you have companies, say like AIW or AAW or PWG, that's like, sorry, we no longer are allowed to use the Lucha Bros, that may hurt, especially if, now, one thing, depending on how All Elite Wrestling does their exclusives, they could really hurt a company like PWG, who relies on a lot of indie talent. And if they sign their guys to exclusive deals where you're with us and nobody else, that's going to be a lot of guys who usually work for PWG not working PWG anymore. Again, we don't know what the exclusivity, I think that's the right word, exclusivity of the All Elite Wrestling contracts are going to be, if they ever do like exclusives nowhere else like WWE, or if they go like an MLW route where it's like, okay, you can work for us, but we've got first say on dates. So we'll continue to monitor this story. Again, it is rumored that All Elite Wrestling will start television this fall, possibly on TBS or TNT. So let me know what you guys think again in the comments below on AEW possibly getting the exclusive rights to Pentagon and Phoenix in the United States, and what you think exclusive could mean for All Elite Wrestling. Because like I said, there's a number of different things that it can actually mean. Now with that, our final story of the day does have to do with the man called Sting. So Sting recently did an interview with WrestlingTravel.org, and he stated that he'll come out of retirement for one match, but it's only if it's Undertaker at WrestleMania. The article goes as followed. The 60-year-old hasn't wrestled since September 2015. Speaking to Wrestling Travel recently, he revealed he'd only come back for a match with The Undertaker, saying, I mean, everyone knows who it would be. Taker. He's the only guy I'd come out of retirement for now. No one else. We could just never get it together to make it happen. When I started talking to WWE, he was booked with Brock, and then I did the deal with Triple H, and he had another feud going on at the time. So it was just one of those things we couldn't make happen. But I don't regret it not happening either. I mean, I got to face Triple H at my first WrestleMania, and then wrestle Seth for the world title. So I didn't do too badly out of that deal. But yeah, now the only person I'm getting back in the ring for is Taker. Sting also talked about if there were any plans for him past the Night of Champions match with Seth Rollins if he didn't get injured, where he stated the following. There wasn't really any set plans for me either. There wasn't really any set plans for me after the Seth match if I hadn't got injured. The match was just for me to have one-off. The plan was just for me to have one-off matches here and there. But I didn't have any planned opponents or anything like that. We were just going to see what was best for business at the time. You know, to be honest, Sting is dealing with a neck injury now. If you don't remember, he was in that match with Seth Rollins at the 2015, Night of Champions match. Should have known that, I just said it. The 2015 Night of Champions match, and he took a buckle bomb wrong, and he injured his neck. Some doctors have said that Sting should undergo surgery. Some doctors have said that he won't have to undergo surgery unless he wants to return to in-ring competition. And here's the other thing. We don't know if Sting does take the surgery, if WWE and their doctors will even clear Sting to return to in-ring competition. So with that, Sting is kind of not doing the surgery from what we've heard before because of that uncertainty. The match, I don't know if I really want to see the match. It's not something that I've always been like, I got to see this match. I've got to see this match. This match is going to be great. It's the pillar of WCW, the guy that never left WCW, Sting, against the pillar of the WWE, the guy that never went anywhere else, The Undertaker. That was always the lure of it. But now it's like, they're both in their 50s. I think Sting's 50 now. But they're both right up into their 50s. And what does it matter anymore? You're going to see two guys, especially The Undertaker, that can't really go in the ring unless he's got someone to carry him. So I honestly don't want to see the match. I mean, it'd be cool if it ever happens. The build would be great because they're both great storytellers and great talkers. But from a standpoint of match itself, I'm not that interested in. Honestly, could care less if this was to happen. So let me know if you guys want to see Sting versus The Undertaker at Wrestle. Hold on. We might have some breaking news here while we're recording. So let me know if you guys want to see Sting versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania in the future. We don't know when in the future. It's got to come soon because these guys ain't getting any younger. But we've got some breaking news as we're recording today's episode. Has to do with WWE Hall of Fame. Give me 1 second, guys, as we pull this up. Okay, here it is. So we do have breaking news as we're recording this. You may already know of this news while you're watching this video, but as we're recording, we've got some breaking news as far as the WWE Hall of Fame. I'm trying to get this tweet to load so you guys can see it. Screw it. Let's just do it like this. Oh, man. Twitter wants to run so slow right now. Actually, it's Chrome, not just Twitter, but if we can get this to load. Okay, so let's pop over here. It's official. WWE has announced, if the image wants, there we go. WWE has announced that the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2019, as first reported by Yahoo Sports. Now, this was something we heard back in, I think it was December or January. I want to say more closer to January, that the Hart Foundation, the original Hart Foundation, would be going into the Hall of Fame this year. There were some doubt and questions when they announced they were inducting DX. And then they're like, oh, well, they got a faction. Are they going to put in a tag team? Then they announced Harlem Heat. So then a lot of people were like, well, maybe now we're not going to get the tag team. But it's official. Announced today, March 25th, 2019. Bret Hart's going to be a two-time Hall of Famer. We've got three people going into the Hall of Fame for the second time this year. Bret, Shawn, and Booker. But I think this is great that the Anvil and the best there ever was, the best there ever will be. Why did I just forget his thing? The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Going in the Hall of Fame together as the original Hart Foundation. We're not getting the full Hart Foundation, where we also had Pillman and Owen and Davey Boy. We're getting the OGs from the 80s. So I think that's great news that the Hart Foundation will be going into the WWE Hall of Fame. More news to come of that as the day progresses. Keep it locked right here on Pro Wrestling Unlimited for that. But with that great news, I think that's going to wrap up today's episode of the PW Unlimited Daily. PW Unlimited Daily is, again, our show we're doing every Monday through Friday. It's going to air on YouTube at roughly 11 a.m. Pacific, and then go out on Twitter, or not Twitter, but go out on iTunes a little bit later. I want to thank everybody who watched today's episode, and thank you to our sponsors, Insight Editions, from whom you can purchase the WWE Official Cookbook and WWE Pop Quiz Trivia Deck. Don't forget, I will be live again tonight following Monday Night Raw at roughly 8:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Make sure you hit that notification bell down there so it lets you know when I post new videos, when we go live, because sometimes YouTube doesn't like to do that. So make sure you're hitting that notification bell, you're following on Twitter, you've got the RSS feeds going, so that way you know every time we post something new. Follow us on Twitter at PW Unlimited. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Check out our website, pwunlimited.net. And until next time, we'll see you right here on PWU Daily. Have a great day, guys.